episode 5? No, wait. It's episode 6. 6. It's episode 6. Hi guys, welcome back to a new episode of Brie T TV. I'm your girl, as always, Brie T. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about something that every creative goes through. And that's the conversation and the balancing act of being a content creator and creating your own content and being a freelancer. So if you are a creator of any capacity, you have most likely, the majority of creators have freelanced, or they had to dabble in the idea of freelancing. Especially if you're a creator that went to college, then literally freelancing was your thing. And so I know for a fact, like, my history with being a creative is realizing that I hate freelancing. Like, once I realized I don't want to do news, then I was like, oh, well, I'll freelance and get experience. Not money, experience. And I'll start freelancing. And I had 2 freelance jobs. Killed freelancing for me forever. Now, for those of you who might not be aware, there is a strong difference between content creating and freelancing. And that is all in the realm of who owns the creative idea, who owns the creative vision, who owns the right and authority to the creative vision. Obviously, when you're creating content for yourself and you are just creating content purely based off your artistic vision, your passion, your drive, your idea, your capacity, that is content creating. Freelancing is obviously when you do it for someone else, whether that's in the realm of an internship or that's getting credits or even money. And freelancing means that you basically work for someone, not full-time, not part-time, you're just a one-time gig. Now, freelancing, in my experience, has been something extremely turbulent. I don't think I've ever had a successful... I think I had 1 successful freelancing job, and the other 2 were completely shit shows for several reasons. And I think the major reason, and it all goes back to the major difference between freelancing and creating content, is who owns, again, the authority of the creative vision. So I guarantee you, you are going to experience in your realm of being a content creator, especially if you're in college, if you are a creator in college, you are going to experience freelancing. Whether it be by choice or whether you be led to the idea that it's going to be beneficial to you. And in certain capacities, it is. I want to give you some tips to look out for when you're in the midst of negotiating or talking about freelancing a project. Number 1, definitely talk about price. Talk about how long they assume you're going to be on that facility filming, right? If you're a videographer, or like in my case, I was filming and then I was editing. You bring up how long you assume you're going to be on the premises filming, how long they assume you're going to be on the premises filming. Ask for what examples they're basing this video off of, okay? Definitely ask for their example, okay? Because all of the freelancing gigs I had, all 3, every single one used an example of a high-end production company value piece. You are coming to a college student who was at that time working at other internships, and you want me to mirror a piece where you're only hiring one student. You're not hiring 2. You're not having a crew. You have 1, and you want a high-end production produced promo video. All 3 of them did. Okay? So ask for that example. Once you receive the example and you can tell the quality of it, because obviously you have that eye and you know where your level is and where a high production level is, let them know. okay? The first 2 times I did a gig, I did not do that, okay? I said, I can do this, but in my head I knew it was gonna be less quality. It wasn't gonna be as detailed and as flowy because it was only me. And it was in very shitty lighting. Like, there was no help whatsoever to control the environment as this high-end production company produced videos were showing. The third gig I had, I brought it up because this was a person who wanted a promo video for their organization, and they wanted it to mirror. When I mean mirror, I mean clip by clip, graphic by graphic mirroring of this promotional video that was a similar organization to theirs. However, it was very clear that this promotional video, this organization paid a film crew and then paid a separate editor, a high-end, well-experienced editor, to put everything together. I let her know that this was done professionally. And while I value my professionalism, I know to what extent my professionalism at that time went to. Okay? The next thing is you need to ask for all of the materials they will supply you with. And what I mean by that is get it all in one round. And while you're getting those materials, have them specify why they're using this and which ones are most important. When you say, okay, if you have any, footage or stock video of photos you want me to use, you can send them to me. No, don't tell them that, because they're going to send you a shit ton, and then you're going to use ones that you think, because you're operating under the guise of we trust your creative vision. So you're going to use the pictures you think in your creative vision make the most sense, and I guarantee you they're not going to like it, because it wasn't the picture that was most flattering for them. So always ask for all the materials, and then have them pinpoint the ones that they want to definitely see in that video. And then the ones they don't, stick them in a folder, don't open it until you absolutely need it. After you get the materials, look at the type of file it is. Because if you use Premiere, you're well aware that Premiere does not sync all footage, or does not treat all footage the same. If it's shot on different devices, most devices are not compatible, especially depending on the device you're using to use Premiere. And I learned that the hard way. I realized that an iPhone video would work best on Premiere on my MacBook sometimes. And depending on where so I realized that a video they shot off of their Android was not working well with the video I shot with my Canon. And then she had a Sony footage, footage shot on a Sony camera thrown in there. So it was jumbled up, it was getting distorted, so I had to use other pictures because she trusted my vision to cover it up. When I tell you, I sent this video to her, right? To and from. Okay? They did this whole long-winded intro, and then I found pictures that matched what she was saying, or I found video that matched what she was saying, and I trimmed it, and I tried to keep it under time, because a promotional video, one, and I'm jumping around. So another rule that you want to, or another thing you want to keep in mind is always ask them how long they think this video should be. Rule of thumb, a promotional video should not be more than 2 minutes. 2 minutes, the person's losing interest unless it's the absolutely best commercial they're ever watching. But for an organization that's really unknown, or a group that's relatively haven't dabbled in video media in any sense of the form, they don't need to be over 2 minutes. Okay? So ask them, how long do they think it is? If so, in my case, with the organization that wanted to mirror my last freelancing gig, wanted to mirror a video that was exactly 2 minutes and 15 seconds. For me personally, when I watched the example video, I lost interest after a minute 30. I just didn't think it needed to be 2 minutes and 15 seconds. At one point, it was getting very repetitive. And so I had told her that, you know, I was like, maybe this isn't was working out. So I told her that. I was like, I lost interest after a minute 30. I thought he was repeating himself. Are you sure you want it to be as long as this video? And she wanted it to be about 2 minutes. And so she's sending me a shit ton of footage because I didn't ask her to label or specify the exact one she wanted to be, absolutely be in the video. And she trusted my creative vision. This video was going at 5 minutes. And so, keeping in the back of my head, she wanted to keep it 2 minutes. I'm finding places to trim the fat that don't necessarily belong there. Well, that isn't the case. That wasn't the case. And soon it became a volley through email of sending back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Video edits and video edits and video edits. They would tell me to do one thing and I'd do it. That's exactly how they wanted it to be done, and it still didn't satisfy them. And it got to about the 4th time I had sent that video back, and I realized I need to quit this freelancing gig. And I think that rules out the 7th rule. All of the rules is be honest. Be completely honest. If there's a point where you don't think you can complete this project. It got to the point where I had to email her. It got to the point where I had to email the creator of the organization, the owner of the organization, who to this day has never responded to me. Ever. Has never responded to that email. Okay? I emailed the owner of the organization and I just simply stated in very clear words, I don't believe I'm the person that can help create your vision. I'm having trouble. The footage you want to add, I've explained before, is not compatible with the other footage. You shot it on 2 different cameras. Those cameras are not compatible. Their settings are not compatible on Premiere. And so one piece is going to look green and it's going to have like jarring lines in it. And, you know, I've tried my best to accommodate every wish you've had. But none of, like, the problem is, none of your footage is consistent. They're all from several different days. They all kind of, you know, they were all from several different days. The footage, literally every day, mirrored the day before. So you weren't getting much variation in what was going on. You had the same, what looked like just kids in different clothing doing the same thing. And so then you had testimonies, but again, those testimonies were either filmed on an iPhone or they were filmed on an Android. They were filmed in bad lighting. They were filmed in a crowd. They were blurry. They were unfocused. And so after the 4th time, I had to send that email and let her know, you know, like the footage were the problem. The photos are an issue. I've tried to explain this before, but if you would want, at this point, they had sent me a check for about $100. I had spent it already. And I even offered. I said, I will send you back the $100 if that's what you want to be done, because I can't continue this job. I can't continue this editing project anymore for you. That person has never responded to that email, but I feel the email was completely professional. I was completely honest. Because I was losing my mind editing this video. And that was the last freelance gig I ever had because I couldn't go through that anymore. Like, the first one ended in disaster. The footage got lost. The footage got deleted. The battery was broken. Like, there were just so many problems with my first gig. My second gig was kind of easier. It was like pretty simple, but you know, shitty lighting, being by myself, it just didn't work out that well. And so I thought I would try it again and freelance again, and freelancing is not for everybody. Freelancing, if you have the heart to freelance, kudos to you. I could never do it again. While I can't stand freelancing because of the creative restriction, and I think what people have to keep in mind when I say creative restriction, I know that there are other jobs out there that are going to restrict your creativity because you are not the producer, you're not the director, you're not the writer at that moment. If you work for a news station, if you work for a television station, if you work for a community media organization, you are still restricted in creativity, and I understand that. However, you know that going in. You see what I'm getting at? People who will hire freelancers, especially creative freelancers in college, don't tell you that out the gate, that you don't have creative control. They will lead you to believe, like I said, under that line, that you are trusted with your creative vision and they don't trust you. But if you go and get a job at a TV station or a media conglomerate or a sitcom at Netflix or Hulu, you know going in, your creativity is still restricted. You may enjoy it because you picked this or you applied for it, but you know that going in, that there's someone above you that's going to make the final decisions. And that has a better peace of mind than arguing with someone who never picked up a camera, never touched Premiere, and arguing with them because what they're talking about is physically impossible for their budget. And so that's why, like, that's my biggest issue with freelancing. And I think we put so much, I think universities, professors, like this whole industry, and like we're in an industry where no one wants to hire you as a videographer. They'll take a college student and work them for free. Oh, we'll give you internship credits. I also want money. Like, I want money. I'm already being stretched thin while I'm at college. You think I want to be stretched thin for free? I'm already doing that for free. I'm paying them to stress me out. And now you want to stress me out for free? Oh, no. 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 And it's even worse when you have a degree and you want to be a videographer or you're trying to get a job in creating content in any capacity because they don't respect it as a full-time career. Not many companies do. They think anything that is an art, that is a craft, that is visual, that is storytelling, creative in any sense, is purely a hobby. And you should be paid as a hobby, or you should be rewarded as a hobby, which is why freelancing gigs for some people seeking out college students are no more than $100. Why? Because they don't. And then it comes with, if you do get a good freelancing gig, you gotta pay taxes. No one in MSP ever taught us how to pay taxes on a freelancing gig. And I think as a media college, you should tell us how to do that. You should teach us how to do that. Because yes, while we're paying taxes for the part-time job we have. We're getting a W-2, and that's what we're doing. But most organizations will give you a W-4. What the fuck is a W-4? Right? I had to like sit on the phone with my mom and like line by line go over what this W-4 looks like. Do I have to pay money? And when you're a freelancer, the kicker is you might be getting like a little bit of money, right? You gotta pay it. You gotta pay taxes on it. And if you don't do it right, you're paying a lot of taxes. And I remember just getting my first W-4 from a gig, my second gig. They paid me like $300. And my mom looked at me, she goes, oh, you should be careful. You might have to pay taxes on that. And I was shook to the core. Because it's just like, this isn't even a lot. This wasn't a lot of money. And now I might have to pay taxes on it, and no one at this media school let me know. No one in senior seminar, we're going back to senior seminar, no one in senior seminar decided to let me know that if I freelanced, I would have to pay taxes. I might have to pay taxes on what I get paid. And I know I'm not getting paid a lot. You mean to tell me I'm already broke? I did this for experience and a handful of change. And that handful of change has to be paid for? By me? I think I take back what I said about the creative control. It was definitely the taxes. Once I realized that freelancing was much more complex, you didn't have creative control, you didn't have authority, you were being undermined at every corner and every turn of an editing project, and now all of a sudden there's this looming threat that I have to pay taxes. It's like, what's the point of freelancing? What's the absolute point of freelancing? And so I prefer creating content. I might not be at the point where I'm making money off of my content. I'm not getting sponsorships. I'm not, doing promos. But I feel confident in what I'm doing. I like the creative control I have. I like the authority I have. And I don't have to pay taxes on it yet. It's a win-win-win. Except the fact that I want to take naps and I'm hard at sticking to my own deadlines. But I think overall, looking at freelancing, it's not the same as content creating. It's not the same realm. And with that being said, I think freelancing can have its benefits besides just being hard deadlines that you can abide by, and it's easier than to work with your own personal flexible deadlines. But I think it's beneficial if you're freelancing for someone who respects you and respects your craft and understands the worth of your craft and understands the worth of your work and the time you're putting into it. If you are working for someone, if you're freelancing for someone who just simply does not want to hire a full crew for the sake of saving money, not because they can't afford it, they're not going to respect your craft. They're not going to see it as much more than just a hobby that you do and you have a different job that really pays your bills. And they're going to shortchange you. I think as creatives, we got so used to that idea of that's how people who hired freelancers viewed them, as just temporary and cheaper and less paperwork and just a hobby you do when you take care of your kids or you really are a marketer or blah blah blah. We kind of got used to that and fixed our mindset around that ideology, where most freelancers, and I'm talking about college freelancers, take any money that's offered without actually knowing that they can negotiate their price. And I think that's just a testament to the fact that universities, media schools who are handing out 4-year degrees, MSP, they're not really educating students on the difference, on what can happen when you're a freelancer versus an intern or versus your own creator and an entrepreneur. That rarely ever happens. That never happened in senior seminar. And I don't think anyone really talked about that in senior seminar. And I think is a testament to what is not being taught to college students, especially media college students, but also the fact that we need to start as creatives showcasing our worth, letting them know what our worth is. How much is your work worth? You know the price. They're not gonna know it. They're gonna assume that you're gonna take $150 because you have a meal plan at a university and you're just gonna take the $150. When you know that you hone this craft and you, in your eyes, have the ability to be one of the best, let them know that. Let them know. Negotiate your price if you're freelancing. If you really want to freelance, negotiate your price. Let them know what your worth is worth. Stick your worth on your fucking sleeve and wear it like a badge of honor. Let them know. Let them know that your time, your effort, especially if you're a videographer and an editor for an organization that doesn't want to hire a crew, let them know that you're going to be paid as a videographer and an editor. Let them know that. Take pride in your work, take pride in your worth of your work, and demand that. And I wish I can go back and let myself know that every single time I took a freelancing gig. I hate that I know that now. I hate that it couldn't help me in the past. But I wish I could go back and let me know that is not worth it. You just put up with so much bullshit for $100 that you spent in gas going to and from those properties and those locations. Are we really shitting ourselves? Now, I will say, if the organization you're freelancing for is a non-profit or they really just don't have the means or the funds, negotiations are still okay, but I get how some people will just take what's offered on the table. But if you're working, freelancing for a company, a corporate office, negotiate that. Have a conversation. Let them know what you're worth, okay? And I think that's why I sought comfort and find comfort in content creating. Yeah, I'm not getting paid for my content. I'm not getting sponsorships or flued out, for my content, but I'm happier. I'm much happier sitting right here and shit talking freelancing and my experience in freelancing and hopefully, having a conversation or sparking the light to it, I'm happy that I know for right now all I have to worry about the W-2s and file my taxes with those and not trying to figure out and navigate a tax return that was never taught to me. I'm happy with that. I'm happy what I'm doing. I'm happy being a creator who has full creative control. Yes, is it hard to stick to deadlines? Yes, is it hard? Yes, it's hard to stick to deadlines. Yes, it's hard to find pride in most of the work you do. It's absolutely hard. It's hard. But it's so rewarding that I know that everything I put out, I felt a passion for it. That was my vision. Am I upset when an audience doesn't grasp and gather and run to it? Yeah. Because you expect people to run to your work. But I'm happy with where my vision went. And I can't say that for all of the shit that I've made and shot and put together for the freelancing gigs that I had. I don't even want to watch that stuff at all. If it could just disappear, I'd be quite content with it. And so I hope this helped. I hope it wasn't just me ranting for a long time. I hoped it really gave you some key insights on what to do when you're in a freelancing position from someone who had 3 failed freelancing experiences and realized what I could have done better with research and talking to other creatives and freelancers. I won't freelance again, at all. I will work odd jobs before I freelance again. Unless it's no, I won't freelance again. But I hope this helped. And if you're a creative who just started out freelancing or who enjoys freelancing, please comment down below. I would love to have a conversation with you guys. Because, again, like I said, I had 3 failed experiences and it turned me off from freelancing. But if you actively enjoy freelancing, let me know why. Also, let me know, in what capacity do you freelance? Maybe you are freelance, photographer or a freelance journalist, and maybe that's better than being a freelance videographer. Maybe that's more fun. I don't know yet, but for right now I'm okay with being a content creator and not a freelancer. And that's it for this episode of Brie T TV. I'm your girl, as always, Brie T. And stay tuned for next week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. And don't forget to hit the bell notification so you know exactly when this video hits, because as much as I try to get this out at 8 p.m. every Saturday, it could be 8:05. And you would want to know at 8:05 that your video came out. And a quick side note, unfortunately, we will not be having our first Creative Creator segment next week. That's the last Saturday of February. Issues came up, and I'm still sticking with my promise to give you amazing content. And at being a one-woman production crew right now, the content wasn't amazing. It wasn't the best. It could have been better. So I'm postponing the creative creator segment because I want you guys to enjoy what you're watching every second, every minute of it. And I want the person, the creator that you're watching, to really come through on the screen so you can see who they are behind their lens and behind their creative pen and their just creative journey. And I can only do that with quality work. So we will be coming strong for March, for Women's History Month, and I'm super excited for you guys to see that creative creator segment. And we'll get rolling with our creative segment every last Saturday of every single month. So next week will be a regular Brie T TV episode, and then starting the last Saturday of March, we will have our first creative creator segment. As always, I'm your girl Brie T. See you guys.